All right, I have returned. And now that we actually have a connection to Twitch, we can do all sorts of things. What are we gonna do? What do we need to do here? I guess one thing we don't need to do here, but need to consider is that on the main scene, I would like to. Ooh, let's do this. Let's add a setting that's going to be to just enable or disable the Twitch integration, right? And then what we'll do is we'll use that setting to determine whether we call twitch.setup in the main scene in addition to here. So here's, before we do that, let me check one last thing. So we're still in the setup land. We'll probably do a couple other things with the settings where we have some buttons to like send a test message. And then we'll kind of move off to do stuff in game. But I just want to test one thing first. So if I click authenticate, yeah, it pops up a thing, but it's like, oh yeah, you're authenticated. So is there a way without opening another window to be like, are we authenticated or not? That's a question, right? So, I mean, we could look at Twitch service, right? Is there, let's see, current user commands, ready, enter, setup, unsetup, is configured. Okay, but that's not what I'm looking for. Convenient proxy methods, get user by ID, get user, get current user. If not, force refresh and current user not equal to null. Otherwise, fetch. So when it calls get current user via API, I guess it could throw though. Like we could get an error. Which could be fine. But I would like to know if there's a way to be like, are we authenticated? Are we good? Without triggering a browser window to open, which is what happens if you call setup. Let me go look at the docs. To the docs. So I just want to like, I want status. I mean, I guess we can. Okay, so it could return. Oh, this gets a user. Get self info. Okay, we could try this. And I think that's something we only really want to do inside of our settings menu. I'm kind of tempted, honestly, to be like, let's pull out the parts that are in the tabs into separate, like components, just to you know, have smaller files with kind of isolated bits in them. But I don't want to go through the hassle of that right now. So let's make get Twitch self info. Return. Is that right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Otherwise, return false, and then fix the fact that these are supposed to be. We're two spaces, two space formatting in this. Okay, so think about that for a second. One of the things I want to do is I want to update Twitch status. Is authenticated a thing? It is authenticated a thing in the Twitch auto load? No. Like maybe inside of auth? Right? Twitch auth.gd. Is authenticated. Okay, so potentially we could do twitch.auth.is authenticated. Okay, so we can do that. I think this could be good. I don't think I want to make the button invisible. I think I want to like disable it. Yeah. Exactly. And then what I would like to do is, so this is all fine. This is all fine. When we start up, we want to do this. We want to update the status from Twitch if we can. Let's see how broken that is. Let's see. Stop. What was that error about? Member is authenticated is not a function. Fair. Is authenticated is not a function. See, this is why I wanted to test a little bit before we move on. Let's not pile too many different problems on our plate. Settings, Twitch. Twitch not connected. Okay, authenticate. Starting Twitch authentication process. Did it appear over here? I have been thinking recently about moving I have this fancy window management with Neri, with tiling all this stuff, and I wonder if it would make more sense to not have as many browser tabs and use that UI, that capability more. So this didn't work. Or it did work. Okay, that's fine. I guess here's a question. So if I restart, and I go to settings and I go to Twitch. So I guess the question is, it would be cool, like, clearly what's happening here is that like things are not primed when we hit this, and so it doesn't have the information, right? So this is false when we get to here. I wonder, maybe this is a thing where we need to listen to some signals. Right, so connect signals. Twitch dot auth changed. Is auth changed really a thing, or is it hallucination? Let's see, F signal. The only thing here is something about unauthenticated. Maybe in Twitch auth. It'd be nice if the Twitch service just gave us signals. Auth, Twitch auth.gd. Is that the only signal? Yep. Well, that would be nice. So yeah, that's not a thing that exists. Okay, I think the thing we have to do here is we do need that setting of like turn on the Twitch integration. Once you've turned it on, you can click the button to authenticate. If it's turned on and you open the settings menu, it will automatically click the button. It'll automatically call Twitch that setup for you. And when you launch the game, like when you go start the game and the main scene loads, if the settings turned on, it will automatically call Twitch that setup when that loads. I think that's what we'll do here, because there is no such signal here. So we'll do that. We are going to add a setting. So we're going to add a new HBox container here at the top. This is going to be Twitch enabled container. Let me copy those words, and then we'll have a label. Yep, and we'll have a is it a switch? It's a check button. And we'll make this unique so it's easier to get at. And then for the label, this will be enable Twitch integration. Just a thought. How are we doing this? Or the I guess we're just setting the width of the yeah, 200. Okay. Very well. What did we do for this other label? 300? Okay, so for this UI, we will make the labels 300 wide. Bam. So by default, this will be disabled because that's turned off. And then what we're going to want to do is things. We're going to want to do things. Let's see, we need... No. Are we calling these things? Let's call them check. It's a check button. And we did call it Twitch enabled check button. Okay. And so then what we want to do is we got to do this whole thing. Let's see. So like, how do we... So debug check is not a good example. I specifically had it not persist the setting for the debug. So if we look at what's a good example? Music pause check. Right, so then we have these like temp and previous values. So we need that same thing here where it's temp Twitch enabled. Do it that way. It might be smart for all three kinds of things to have very consistent names, but anyway. Okay, so like if we look at previous music pause, right? Load from current settings. Load from settings manager into temporary variables. So we need temp. Hey, Ty. Just here to say, Nini. All right. Hello. Settings manager. How's it going? All right, Nini. Okay, fine. Very well. Twitch settings. Bar Twitch enabled. False. Okay, and then we need to be able to load settings. Okay. And save. Looks good. And none of this stuff is relevant to anything. We don't need to do anything to apply settings for this. Looks like we have set functions. Are those for us or for, I guess, other things? Okay, so do we? Yeah, we do call save settings. Do we do the same thing with the we do that there for debug, but of course we're not calling save settings because we don't save debug mode. But like for vsync, yeah, we only do it if it's changed. Very well. Save keybinds, we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so I think that's all the changes in settings manager that we need. Okay, and then save original audio settings for potential revert. Wait, do we only do previous for audio settings? Restore original audio settings happens on cancel. Okay, so that should just be restore original settings. Not. Yeah, I guess that too, huh? Not apply video settings because that will happen. That will only happen if you actually applied because there's a separate confirmation. There's a question. Where are we referring to previous full screen? So previous full screen is only set on apply pressed. Little confusing. On video settings reverted, we restore things from previous. Not quite the same thing here. Yeah, so that save original settings. So I think we just need to roll the yeah, those all of this stuff together. So like when we load the current settings, when we're opening the settings menu, we save how they are, and then that way we can restore them. So what's the difference between previous and temp? Some settings we want to right. So temp settings are settings that are changed by interacting with the UI in the settings menu. I don't know why the music cut out. The so you change the setting in the settings menu. The temp one changes. The previous one never changes until you like close out one way or the other. So that's the difference. Probably that should be explained somewhere. So we don't need this here because we've already done that. Down here. And we should also, no, Twitch enabled. Yep. So we should note no need to apply video settings here, since we will yeah, these words are correct. Okay, let's see. Why has the music stopped? I don't know. See, I played the track. We'll see if it continues playing after that or not. Okay, so this will add the ability to interact with the... I think we're missing a thing. Let's see, we need to load current settings. So we did that. There. Or... no. Nowhere yet. Okay. Update UI controls. I mean, we're doing a separate section for things anyway, so let's do Twitch settings. Twitch enable check button pressed equals temp Twitch enabled. Sure. Okay, and then so that will load the setting, and then we need to bind changing the toggle to changing the temp value. Right, so Twitch enable check toggle dot connect. Then we have this. Yeah, there you go. That was the typo. And then func this. I guess if we cancel, we put the original value back in anyway, so I guess that's fine. Okay. One of the things we want to do here is we want to call update Twitch status, because we want to say if it's not enabled, it's disabled, and the button's disabled. It's just like that. Or we could do that. It's probably best not to kind of mix control methods there. Yes. So is that sufficient to control all the things? Let's run it and find out. We won't be able to know everything until we do the part where we change the main scene. If we go to Twitch, you see Twitch is disabled. I can click this. We can click authenticate. It authenticates. And when I click authenticate, what should happen? Stuff should definitely happen, right? So when we're here, we should disable the button while it's happening, and yeah, get the message. Very good. And then the button will stay disabled or be re-enabled based on what happens, and the text will update. Right. So I think what's happening behind the scenes that we can't see is that it's updating something. I don't know, because like the code must be still in here, right? Because this can either be true or false, right? So if it got past here, it would have either updated the label to say connected or connection failed. But it hasn't done either thing, and it is running, so it must still be thinking. There we go, authenticating. How long does it take? Why does it take so long? I don't know. Well, while it's thinking, let's go over to the main scene script. And I think what we're gonna do is on ready, we are going to check if Twitch integration is enabled, and then set it up if so. Okay. Okay. I mean, we could do it like that. Interesting, interesting. Something happened to... Oh, right, it's evaluating this code. This is wrong. So first of all of this is wrong. Await. What did we do over here? Or setup successful. Basically, if it's successful, we can just log a message. That's fine. If it's not successful, we probably need to show something to the user, which is not what the logger is for. The logger is for me, not for the user. Display a message to the user. Okay, that's cool and all, but not what we want to do. So we have a UI. I don't want to be like, oh, for everything that could go wrong, let me make a custom method. So what is this UI? We have, so this is this node. We're just calling it a control, but it's not a control. It is the UI scene that has a UI script. I guess, is there any reason why I can't give this the class name of main UI? That way I would be able to, over here, say that the type of this is main UI. Yeah, I know. You'll get it eventually once Godot is done crashing. And so we do want to call deferred, but we want to show problem message. something like that. And in the UI, we're going to introduce a new method. No. I mean, the first part is fine. Let's add a comment. Yep, exactly. How do we do that? Not like that. Is there a quick and dirty way? Godot show message to user. Just couldn't accept dialogue and put it in the tree. Like literally this code. Yeah. Okay, so what happened here? Must be called with wait. Yeah, so we saved changes and that caused it to be evaluated and things. Anyway, we see it did eventually connect, so that does work. Okay, so let's restart this. We'll go to settings. We'll make sure this is still. We didn't actually save because the game crashed. If we apply settings and we go to settings and Twitch, hey, it's still enabled. Great, and we can authenticate, and it should just work because we're already authenticated. We have like a cached token. I already know there's going to be an issue where what happens if the token becomes invalid while the game's running? Something that we'll need to handle. I don't know, unless there's some stuff internally that auto does that. Boy, these bots. You don't see them because Twitch is flagging them, but... Okay, connected, apply, start game, play. Now... This is interesting. So we can see, yeah, I did successfully detect that the Twitch integration should be enabled. It says last login attempt was within 1 minute. Wait 1 minute before trying again. Okay. So that feels like it's trying to tell me that the setup method is a authentication method, right? That it's saying you shouldn't call this often. But how do I ensure that things are set up if I don't? Maybe I don't need to. Maybe it's fine anyway. Oh, something happened. Regardless, so hold on. What does it say in the logs? We don't see anything more in the logs. So let's make something happen. We've been doing all this stuff, but we haven't actually made anything happen in Twitch. We should probably do that. What shall we do? Maybe just for the sake of like demoing behavior, let's just make a change to here, right? So after setup is successful, we can do Twitch dot something. Let's see. Now we can actually use some of the stuff. Common usage. Send chat message.
About making it feel
current user me ID hello from Godot. Okay, I mean we can just do this, right? We can just say twitch.chat hello from Godot. when the main game, when like the main scene loads. Right, so if we quit, that stops the game. Maybe I wanted main menu. Start game, play. Now, Twitch integration is enabled. Presumably it's still in setup though. What I think we should see in chat in a little bit is a message that says hello from Godot once it successfully authenticates.
You know, you want those.
So if we go here to settings, Twitch. So one thing that won't happen now is that this will not respond to the fact that the authentication goes through.
It's not a thing about making it accurate. It's a thing about making it feel right.
Probably should have. Wait, hold on one second. So we're looking for Twitch setup successful. I don't think we've seen that yet. That's what we're waiting for. Let's unpause the game. Hey, there it is. And so theoretically, it should send a message to Twitch chat. Now, is it going to?
But it's not a thing about
I don't know.
accurate.
Is there something in the debugger? Some kind of error? No, nothing new.
It's not about getting
No
it
new
accurate.
complaints. Now,
It's about getting it to feel right.
didn't mean to do that, but okay. Probably need a confirmation before abandoning the game. Yeah, so this info doesn't update, even if like the main scene authenticates. It's a little disconnected right now. I still don't see a message in chat though. Isn't that a good sign? I do have a thing, again, I do have a thing on the backlog to fix
If it's an
the
accident that's
motion of
error
the
that
zombies.
leaves it, then you leave it in.
Okay.
You know?
So Twitch
You
setup
want those.
successful, but it didn't send a message. Right? It should have. It should have gone to here and sent hello from Godot. So why didn't it? Let's check something really quick. It's gonna reload the dashboard. Okay, no. This would also be a problem to like wait for something like this in the ready, except we've done all the things anyway. Otherwise we could pull this out into a separate function and like defer execution. I'm pretty sure I gave a chat read and edit scopes. We can start registering commands as well and subscribe to events, but I would like, you know, this part to work as well. Let's do that. Let's also stop the game fully. I'm pretty sure I did that before I started, after I made the last set of changes. But let's do this. And so in the logs, whatever's going on with the login process, it will. I wonder if that's just like a throttle. What I need is something like setup that I can call, but it's just like, yeah, everything's fine. I don't need to do anything instead of just waiting. Okay. Twitch setup successful. I don't. Oh yeah. So let's clear that. Let's look for main. Oh, and then we printed. That was a mistake. So 11:36:46. $45.46. So Twitch setup successful, and then a bunch of things. I don't see a print, which would really stand out as well because it would be Let's do this. Let's bring this up here. Let's change this print to my logger info. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then restart. Give this one more shot. I think it's about time for me to find some lunch. So Twitch setup successful, and there's no other log messages, which was really, really odd to me. So that suggests what? Well, it means we get here, but we don't get here, which means this is taking a long time. Excuse me. Unless there's something in the debugger. Nope. Okay, just checking. So that's odd. We'll just let the game run for a little bit. Let's go look at the I guess the source, really, for Twitch service. Is there something that we can call instead of setup? So if auth is a valid instance, we call authorize every single time. Maybe we should be calling something else. I mean, alternatively, what we do is we just own keeping track of are we authenticated or not. That feels very weird. Excited to look at the poll stuff. We'll make some polls programmatically. That'll be cool. Add command, announcement, shout out, chat. This also gets current user. Apparently that's taking quite a while. On unauthenticated calls auth.authorize. So it seems like after the first time you call setup, maybe it will handle re-authenticating. So maybe instead of doing the setup on main, I want to do it like in the the loading of the whole game. Check to see if the setting is true, and then call setup. With the hope that by the time you get into the actual game, that has kind of worked its way through. I think we'd have to dig into the API to see, like, into the kind of the API wrappers of this add-on to see what's going on with the with things. Okay. All reward media logger generated. Twitch API. Max auth errors 3. Typo there. Underscore log here. Is there Twitch logger? Is there something in Twitch service that we need to do to toggle logging? Maybe that's the real thing I'm missing is not turning on logging. Let's see, where's this Twitch logger live? Probably in logger. Twitch logger manager. Interesting. Cool. How do I do things? Okay, yeah, we still don't have a chat message. We still don't see anything in the in the logs here either. Altogether, not great. Yeah, okay. Maybe yeah, let's quit. I think there's some stuff I need to figure out. Isn't there always? Let's see. So, hey, Twitch your logs. I don't suppose I could just like set them all. I probably don't want to. We can do info. Let's do debug on that. And Twitch service, debug, and HTTP info, and sweet. one more run, and then we're gonna call it quits for today. Look, details. Bam. Okay, authentication success. Send auth code. Request token for thing via authorization code. Start request. Client disconnected. Request done. Twitch auth. Disable automate use of refresh token. Some spelling and or grammar issues there. Token for thing could not be fetched. Response code 400. Invalid client credentials. Yes. Okay. So then what happens? So is the I don't know. It's weird because we definitely get to the path where it says it's succeeded. So also we should unpause or stuff is not gonna happen. Is there some kind of like cooldown? Also, let's change my debug settings. Wherever I have that. There we go. I just have a uncategorized setting there. Let's up the log level so that we don't see debug. Okay, and then what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to save all this, and we're going to stop for today because I need to find something to eat and maybe just like let this sit for a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta like sleep on things, and then things will be much clearer. The difficulties early in the stream we kind of got through. We got over the hurdle, right? But there's still some stuff to figure out, and why aren't things quite working? Why aren't chat messages appearing? But you know, we're just gonna chip away at it a little bit at a time. But yeah, I want to say thanks so much for over here. There we go. Thanks so much for coming on the stream today.